Well, I'm back in my veggie garden and I just finished watering. I haven't watered this morning, and thankfully it's been overcast and cool, so it got away with it. Nothing really wilted that much. So I thought, let's have an update again, because with the hot weather we've had in the last week, things are changing dramatically, and in fact growing. Some are growing faster than I anticipated, others are a little bit slow, but let's have a look around. We're standing in front of our rocket lettuce. This is self-sown. These are the flowers that we're going to get our seeds from. They fall into this bed, so this has been a dedicated bed now to rocket lettuce or salad. It's not bitter, it doesn't taste like lettuce, it doesn't taste like rocket. It's almost a combination of all the leafy plants together, and some people just can't resist and have to eat while they're holding. It's just, see what I got to put up with? No, it's all good. That's what it's there for. We got to eat it. So this is doing really well. Look at it. It's actually filled the entire bed up. The basil's doing really good too. I'm really happy with that, as is the eggplant. Look at this. This is a squash we've put in here. A late planting one. Actually, there are two here. I didn't realize I planted two. They're coming along slowly. Only little pups. There's a little one on the other side there that's actually taken off, which is not too bad. I'll show you other ones down the other garden beds. They're about 5 times the size, planted at the same time. Another self-germinated tomato here out in the open, because we get that northerly that comes howling through here straight over the orchard, and you can see the tomatoes grown over the edge. I have not touched it, literally not touched it. I've only added water here. This is a rosemary I dug up from the garden bed. Now that was, well, it is a beautiful rosemary. That was doing really well in the bed. I haven't cut it back yet. We've got our first flush of flowers. I'm just letting it run through its whole cycle. Then I'm going to give it a good prune and then allow it to bush up properly. But this tomato, you don't have to prune tomatoes. You know how we say you can let them grow bush? If the soil's good, remember that. If your soil's really active and you let the tomato ramble like that, it will do really well. You get very little, if any, disease on it. That's what I'm noticing here. And I've got a few other ones there, but if the soil's healthy, this soil's pretty good. It's a lot of cocoa in here. This is one of the old beds from the garden centre in Coburg. We filled it up with cocoa and a little bit of a planting mix on top, which is almost out of stock again, folks. We can't make it fast enough, unfortunately. So pre-orders still are there. But anyway, back to the topic. So we topped this up here, and all I've done is just planted oregano, the rocket, which is very spicy. Look how small this one is by comparison. Same plant as the other beds over there, but a lot smaller by comparison. But look, the tomato's loving it. I haven't seen a red one yet, but there's a lot in there. Check out this lemon tree. We haven't spoken about this for a while now. I did this as a trial to see if I can salvage the tree out in the full-blown wind, grown in a bag full of cooch. That's what we got here, basically. It's just a root ball of cooch. And it has grown. Now, I haven't fed it, so it's due for a feed. And because I have been watering it extensively, that's why it's yellowing off. It will grow with the grass, but you've really got to, they're big feeders. You've got to feed them regularly. So I've got to start focusing on feeding this on a regular basis, literally every week, fortnightly, a liquid feed and a monthly top dress with a bit of superfood. That's about it. I'll bring it to life, don't worry. I'll fix it up. At the end of the day, it's all naturally grown. You know, no chemicals, a high nutritional value, really dense food, and your body doesn't need a lot of it to feel full and, you know, vitalized. And you can see how the birds are constantly digging it up everywhere. So I fixed the soil, started liquid feeding them, picked up the plants and just pruned. Not a single spray. And I know in the past I've spoken about sprays all the time. You know, you can make your eco oil sprays from home. They're great. Don't get me wrong, they're great. Some people prefer to do a quick spray, but that's the symptom, the treatment of the symptom. So you can fix that. But the cause of that starts from the soil. Now, if you don't fix the soil, that symptom's going to come back again. And eventually, if you're constantly spraying, even if it's just olive oil and soap, eventually it's not going to work, because everything develops a resistance over time. You know, continuous exposure to something will cause you to adapt. Either it'll give up or it'll adapt and move and become more resilient, then infect your plants even more so. Then we up the ante. You know, we up the medication. So we need to put more onto it, a bit more stronger, and then at the end, we defeat the whole purpose of why we grow at home. For me, I do it for fun. Really, I do it for fun. I get told, I just remember my wife saying to me, what, you just growing it to look at it? And I said, yeah. We got to harvest. So we do harvest, and then there's a lot to harvest here. So, all right, long with the story, cut it short. Look after your soil. Get the right stuff into it. Don't be turning it over all the time. And look, you won't get it right every time. Like I don't get every garden bed right, and some beds just simply don't want to perform, even if I've used the right stuff, so to speak, you know. So persevere, keep adding, keep working it, and remove all the toxins, whether they're insecticides above ground or fertilizers below ground that we use. Remove them all from your garden, and you'll see how much better your microclimate and, you know, all the insects of the world, all the birds, even though I hate them because they're digging up my garden, I love having them in the garden. So all that good stuff, all the predators will turn up. Your garden will look after itself. And the weak ones, the plants that is, they will wither away and die eventually, you know. Regardless, if you've got a perfect garden, you will always have a shitty one and another shitty one over there, and everything else around it's doing well. Well, some plants just don't perform regardless of what you give them. So don't despair if you've got, you know, a tired looking garden. You can fix it. It's simple. Get it right, huh? Garden Guts. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. We've got workshops, and they're starting to fill. Well, actually, they have filled. There's a few seats left still, folks. So if you want to get into them, get on our website, book your seat there, come down. You're going to be out here with me, eating from the garden as well, and learning a hell of a lot of stuff. Stuff that, even though I've spoken about, we're going to go into depth with them and freak you right out. A hands-on experience as well. vasilisgarden.com. From me, Vasili. Adesi.